Annyeonghaseyo, welcome to Afternoona Delight, where Leah, Megan, and Amy, three American romance novelists discussing all things K-romance from a writer's lens. We fangirl over our favorite actors and actresses, talk up our trope addictions, and nerd out on K-drama deep dives. We'll throw in a few K-pop and K-skincare recs for good measure, because why not ride the Hallyu wave all the way to shore? So grab some tteokbokki and listen to your new favorite unnies.
Hey everybody.
Hello.
Hi there.
So I've been getting a little bit of teasing from the co-host, so you may hear some bird chirping. I am not in an apiary, nor am I in the rainforests of Costa Rica. I am just in California, in my little town, where apparently I just have birds singing outside my window.
But it's 6:15 and they're still singing. Like, it's 6:15 by you, and it's 8:15 by me, and 9:15 by Megan. And we're sitting here getting ready to record, and I'm like, what is that squeaky animal
Yeah, you're
noise?
like Snow White.
Yeah, I'm just here in my kind of heavily residential neighborhood with my tree of birds outside. I don't know.
I love it.
And what I love is, like, we hear it, but Leah's got her headphones on, so she doesn't hear it.
Yeah, I know. I'll hear it when I listen to
we hear it in your mic.
playback.
Yeah, it's so funny.
So, yeah, just think of me right now as Snow White. So, last night, I'm a little bit tired today, because last night I drove to Oakland and saw Epic High, the Korean rap group. And it was really, really amazingly fun. It was in a theater called the Fox Theater, which is one of the older, kind of cool, ornate theaters, you know, like in town. And it was a really fun concert. I really had high hopes, and it exceeded my expectations, which is really good. But I think what really got me the most in the whole thing was, like, you know, the performances were fun, the energy was fun, the banter was fun. But it was this idea that it was just so clear that these three guys were, like, such good buddies and had been, like, you know, they even referenced, like, you know, we've been doing this for 20 years, da-da-da. They, like, had all these, like, funny stories of, like, just kind of, like, what shit they give each other. And then, you know, they kind of had this whole thing of, like, you know, who knows, next time we see each other, you know, the person you're standing next to, you might get married to, or the person you're standing next to, you may not know anymore. And they're like, but whatever happens, just know the three of us are still always going to be together. And it was just kind of like this cute thing.
Cute.
And it was cute, but kind of like they were, like, exasperated, but it was also cute. And so it just reminded me of us a little bit. And I was thinking about how fun it's been that, like, you know, we have known each other for a long time. And just, yeah, how these, like, relationships can grow. And you kind of just become these, like, weird little, like, kooky work families. And you know all these, like, strange things about each other. And I don't know, I don't have, like, a lot of relationships like that. So I just wanted to say, when I heard them say that last night, it made me think of the two of you.
Oh, I wish we were there together.
I know. You know, I sometimes when I think a lot of K-pop groups sort of have this vibe, but I know, like, ATEEZ has said in the past, like, you know, if you feel alone, just know that you can always come listen to our music because we're always going to be here. Mm-hmm. And I think it's not just that they're always going to be together, but, like, their music will always be there. But I guess I would say that to, like, our listeners too. Look, our pod's always going to be here. So, like, if you feel alone and you need to laugh,
our bullshit banter will always be here.
we're always going to be bullshitting about Girl Scout cookies or something.
Oh my gosh.
So, you know, we're always going to be here.
Are they gone? Are all the cookies gone?
Yeah, the cookies are gone. Of course they're fucking gone.
There were only two boxes. It probably lasted 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Well, wait, and let me just say this. I already told this to you guys, but okay, so we're not a religious family, and I think that's great if you are, and I think it's okay if you're not, but we're not. And so because we ran out of Girl Scout cookies, we were at the mall, and I wanted to stop to this chocolate shop. It's called Gertrude Hawk. I don't know if that's, like, national or local. It might be local. So I went in, and there's, you know, obviously chocolates out for Easter, and so my daughter picks up this, like, white chocolate cross. And she goes, "Why is there a chocolate tombstone?"
Halloween is over.
The lady behind the counter just sort of, like, stared at me, and I was like my face got red, and I was like, put it down. Put it down or it'll melt. And I was like,
Oh.
Your head, I was like, put it on your hell hands are going to melt it.
Seriously. You're And the lady tried to make me feel better. She goes, well, it is a tombstone too. And I was like, it's fine. Don't make me feel better.
Oh my
It was
God.
just so funny. Why is there a tombstone here? I was like, oh my God. Yeah, seriously. Just devil take me now. God.
Aw.
I mean, she does know. I think she associated it with that.
Well,
you know?
yeah. I mean, it is something you would see in a Christian cemetery.
She wasn't wrong.
Right?
It's
She's not.
her
But that's
go-to.
not. I mean, like, so everybody knows we are recording this podcast the Wednesday before Easter. So
Right.
that is why, you know, that would be in the store right now.
Right. I wasn't shopping for expired chocolate.
Oh my God. Now I'm getting a whole other visual of like Megan handing out crosses for Halloween next year.
And they're like the
like-
chocolate that's like old and
It's
frosted.
like crumbly. Yeah. This is not, and I'm not making fun of Easter or Christianity or anything like that. I don't want it to come across like that. It is a humorous situation. I do want to bring it back really quickly to, you know, the three of us being friends and the sweet stuff that you were saying, Leah, and the fact that you guys, I mean, you guys are the most consistent thing in my life. And I love that. Like, I mean, okay, like I have a job, I have kids, like there's, you know, but I mean, as far as like, you know, the people that I see the most, even if it's virtual, you know, the people that I see the most and the people that I feel like kind of know me the best right now, like it's you two. And I love that we've been able to maintain that even from a distance and being, you know, spread across the country like we are. Because, I mean, we literally are, you know, spanning the entire length of the country.
And it's always funny to me because I kind of like forget that you guys are actually geographically that far away. Just because, yeah, we see each other every week. I feel like you are an everyday part of my life because we talk on Slack almost every day. But yeah, so it is weird to think about how we're separated by so much land.
And how many years it's been since we have actually seen each other in person. Well, Leah, I saw you for a day.
You did, but yeah, it's been kind of
That feels like a
long
blip
time.
already. But yeah.
Yeah, it's been like 2 years, right?
More than that. Since I've
the
seen
last-
you, I
Yeah.
saw you last maybe in 2018.
Oh, was it 18? Oh, you're right. Oh my
In
God,
DC, in DC.
Oh God, that's almost 4 years. Oh, geez.
Let's not talk about that. That's
I know,
depressing.
that's sad.
That's depressing. All right,
Let's talk about something that's not depressing.
I feel like it's a
That's our
it's a
segue.
contest now, the segue every week. Oh, really? Wait, really quick. Like, speaking of funny segue, please can I tell us really
Yeah.
quick? This
ahead.
happened in class today. So, for those of you who don't know, I've talked about it before, but I am an elementary school librarian. This is Amy talking right now, just in case you're not sure who it is. 'Cause we've also talked to listeners about like putting faces with names and stuff. I'm an elementary librarian, and today we are reading a book with my students called Dog Breath by Dave Pilkey. Very funny book. It's a picture book. It's about a dog with bad breath. Dave Pilkey, Captain Underpants, Dog Man. For those of you who have kids out there, like big name, right? So my kids love Dave Pilkey. And it's about this dog with bad breath, and her name is Halitosis. Lots of funny jokes. Yeah, lots of funny jokes in this book. But we're talking, we're having, you know, trying to make real world connections and talking to each other about our own pets and like what we, you know, do our pets stink or not and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden one of my students is like, oh my gosh, Miss Pine, there's a bug on the floor. And I look, and there is a stink bug on the floor. And so I picked up the stink bug on a piece of paper, and I shook it outside. And my students were like, that is a great, you know, like, segue into the story that we're doing. Like, one of my students made the connection. I'm like, you're right. I'm like, speaking of stink bugs, we're going to talk about dog breath right now.
That is so
yeah.
cute.
So my students
they get A+ for
I would say they
segue.
make smoother segues than we do, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
you've had a couple good ones, both of you.
So
My cookie one for Mr. Sunshine wasn't my shining moment.
I liked it. So I think, yeah, are we sticking with the,
Yeah,
you know,
not depressing.
let's just say we all deserve delight.
Yes.
And the drama we're talking about tonight is just delightful.
That's the best way to describe it. It really is. So, we interrupt our long drama watching. I'm looking at you, Mr. Sunshine, but I still love you, to bring you a delightful BL, or Boys Love, miniseries that just dropped in February, Semantic Error. So let me start by saying that this is a true miniseries, folks. 8 episodes, each 30 minutes or less. So this story is short, sweet, and to the point. Did I mention short? But for real, the reason I'm drilling this point home is because there isn't much to discuss without giving spoilers for this drama. So if you've got a few hours to kill, just go watch and pop back over to us. That being said, we've got a few non-spoilery things to toss out there before you do. So stick with us for just a bit. We'll let you know when it's time to hop on Viki and dive into this absolutely adorable rom-com that will keep you smiling for days. So, a quick overview of the drama.
A strict, rule-abiding computer science major, Chu Sang-woo, on his final group project, leaves the names of the freeloaders, the people assigned to the group who did no work, off the final project so they don't get credit. Because of this, animation designer Jeon Jae-young doesn't graduate or get to go abroad, but instead has to stay at university to get enough credits to finish. When Sang-woo needs a designer to finish the artwork for a game he's developing, Jae-young sees this as an opportunity to get back at Sang-woo for leaving his name off the project. But like Amy said already, this is a BL drama, and there is a very thin line between love and hate. Though we do love a good enemies to lovers story, and the enemies part of this one is deliciously fun.
Okay, so first question for you two, Leah and Megan. If we were back in our late high school, early college years, and we were assigned to work on a group project together, would you be a freeloading Jae-young, a stickler for rules like Sang-woo, or somewhere in between? And I'm going to throw out there, who do you think I would be?
Okay, well, Megan, do you want to just handle the softball part of this question, which is who Amy would be?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Amy would be the stickler for the rules. It was really funny because I can't find my phone now. I actually reposted something in our Instagram stories, and it was a meme, and the meme was basically like, are you a person who loves spreadsheets, or are you a person who makes fun of people who love spreadsheets but benefits from them? And I was like, guess who's Amy and guess who's Megan and Leah. It was really funny. But so yeah, obviously, yeah, you would be a stickler for the rules. And I have to be honest, in high school, I mean, I was definitely like a little snotty bitch, and I 100% would have been like, you didn't do any work, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like a teacher's pet, and I was a tattletale, and 100% I was a stickler. But now I'm on like anxiety meds, and I don't care anymore.
So for me, I don't know, because like certainly I was not Sang-woo at all. So I guess more of a Jae-young, but I don't feel like I was like as cocky. Like I feel like he was just like, whatever, I'm just awesome, so give me credit. And I don't think I ever had like that much BDE. I think I would have been more like, how can I like make this situation work so that we can get through it with the least amount of bullshit. But I think that, yeah, given the parameters, I'd say more of a freeloader, but probably more of a just not invested Jae-young.
I will say that, yeah, 100% I would be much more like Sang-woo, but I would never have the balls to just take someone's name off of an assignment if they didn't do the work.
Yeah, I mean, that's big balls.
Yeah, that was big balls. But here's just a random, just like quick fun fact about me, because it is like, I think it surprises people sometimes. So you know how like there's class rankings like in school? So like, I don't know if they still do this, but like when we would get our report cards, we would get what ranking we were in our grade. Is that still a thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was like 414 people in my grade.
Oh my God, that's like exactly how many were in mine.
Oh, wow. So,
isn't that weird?
That's weird. In my suburban Minnesota high school where I had moved. And I did not want to move in high school. I moved sophomore year, and I did not want to move to this Minnesota suburb, and I did not want to be at a school that was obsessed with hockey. And so I wasn't like disruptive, I just checked out. And so we got called into the assistant principal's office because I was a new kid. And my first report card, I was ranked 411th out of 414. So I did more of just like a passive resistance of like skipping class, and then I'd like go sit in the library and read. So I wasn't like a baller. I just was kind of like not going to do it. So I think that really sums up kind of like the energy I feel like I would have brought to the assignment.
Right. Well, the thing is, you're really smart, so you probably just didn't really care about.
I just didn't do a damn thing.
Yeah.
And what I love now is you work in higher education and you guide students into being successful.
I do.
outside
Well,
of
I will
college.
say, so I did very badly that sophomore year transition period. And then I realized in junior year, and this is something that like sticks with me when I think about my students or even my kids, is like that factor of internal motivation. Like you need to be internally motivated to like do to achieve things. And when it's external motivation, that's usually not as meaningful, or at least it was never for me. And so my internal motivation came when I was like, I don't want to be here. And if I do not improve my grades, there's not going to be very many options for me. And that lit the fire of 1,000 suns. And I was like getting A+ in like AP government and like I was like, who give me things so I can do better. And so, I did take a big hit. And yet I was still able to, get accepted into a university program, thank God, after my 411th ranking for just sitting in the library reading romance novels and not going to class.
That's some good intrinsic motivation, though.
It was.
Tell me about
I was
it.
like, get me out of these suburbs. And away I went. So, let's get to it.
First, as we're all writers, as well as K-drama consumers, we want to give credit to the web novel turned webtoon that inspired this drama by Joe Suri and Kim Anji. And I'm pretty sure we are all going to have to start reading webtoons because we are probably missing out on a lot of good content that isn't getting made into to K-dramas yet. But back to our no spoiler section. A quick question about our leads. Park So-ham, formerly of KNK, or Knick. I've seen it referenced both ways. And Jae-chan, currently of DKZ. We have two idols here, my friends, and I know we've brought this up before, but have we come across an idol who cannot act yet? And did you know that these two were idols before watching?
So I looked them up as soon as I started the drama because I like knowing all of the things about new to me actors. And you'd think that I would be used to the idea by now that basically idols can do everything. But every time I find out someone is as good on stage as they are on screen, I still get all excited that they can do it all. How about you guys?
So I did know that they were idols before watching, but I hadn't been familiar with the groups at all. So I hadn't seen them perform. So I watched this drama and then I looked up their respective groups. So KNK, as far as I know, has disbanded, I believe, but DKZ, which recently changed their name and had a little bit of like a membership change, from Dongkiz, is going strong and just had a comeback this week, which I will get to in the Kpop Rec.
Of course.
And I did not know until I was watching it and Megan mentioned it to me. And then, I wasn't surprised. Park So-ham gave me the idol vibes. And then Jae-chan gave me a little bit more of like the Im Siwon vibes, which obviously he's a great idol too. But like, I don't know, they're just more like these like little itty bitties that hit me in a different way. So I don't know. There's no reason why, like, if you're an itty bitty that hits me in a tiny little way, that you can't be an idol. It's just like I wasn't immediately thinking of them as an idol, and that makes kind of no sense. But
no, it actually
whatever.
makes really good sense, and it goes with my next question. So excellent segue there.
Okay.
So speaking of our heroes, we've got Park So-ham, who is 28, and Jae-chan, who is not yet 21.
Oh, God.
Oh God.
Okay, he'll be 21 in December, I believe. Are we crushing on either of these two, or are we pushing them in a pram? And I mean, I know we had our Mature Heroes pod where we talked about our sort of like age floors and ceilings, but what are our thoughts on these two heroes and the actors who play them?
Yeah. Okay. Look, I think in the Mature Hero podcast, I set my floor at 28.
You did. I remember that.
And I think that's a good spot to be. Morally, for me, I feel like that is a good spot to be. I don't want to dip out of that spot. I find myself... Look, because I think about this with BTS sometimes, too. Because, I'm ARMY. And I look at, like, Jungkook. And I'm like, you are a little bunny. You are a baby boy, man. Yes, there's, like, things about you that are attractive. And, like, you're still really on that threshold of, like, you're not a whole man yet. You're just, like, this cute boy. And
I'm not a girl, not yet a woman.
And so there's like psychological unpacking. And when we get younger than that, like he's 24. And like Bang Chan from Stray Kids, same thing. He's 24. Like, dude, like that's a lot. That's a struggle. Like, you know, because I'm like, I see there being a lot there to admire. And I'm like intrinsically like, and even like, it's not even that I have to like be like, no. It's like, there's part of me that doesn't want to, too. Like, there's part of me that's like, look, you are very attractive. And, like, there's a lot, like, I like to look at you. Like, you're kind of like a piece of art. But, like, I'm not comfortable thirsting for 24. So, certainly I'm not going to go down to, like, dipping into the 20. Like, that's just, like, I can't. I just can't. And I work in higher ed. Like, this just gets very muddled, and I just cannot. So, I can say very cute. I like, it's like watching, yeah, I like it, but I don't like it for me. And 28 is my floor, okay? That's all I'm going to say. 28 is my floor, except for sometimes Kim
Except for sometimes it's 24.
No. Sometimes if it's Kim Tae-hyung, I mean, you can't back away from Kim Tae-hyung.
He is like, he is an old soul. He is an old man in a 24-year-old's body.
Yeah, when V from BTS comes for you sometimes. And I mean, even then, I'm still like, ugh, but like that, okay. This is hard. I don't want to sound like a dirty old woman.
That's exactly what happened as I'm watching this. Is I hopped on over to Slack, and we've got many channels in our Slack, just so y'all know, and one of them is our fangirling channel. And I hopped on over to fangirl over this drama, but I'm like, Park So-ham is so sexy and has so much presence, but even at 28, because I'm a couple of years older than Leah, I feel like a dirty old woman saying that. But like, he has such presence that it's hard to not say that.
Yeah, I just think Kim Kardashian is hitting it with Pete Davidson, and far be it for me to like, you know.
Okay, first of all, Pete Davidson's 28.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's not that young.
Yeah, no, so that's what I'm saying. Oh. Kim Kardashian to be, because Amy was saying.
But Kim Kardashian's not as old as I am.
She's 41.
She's my age.
She's older than me?
Yeah, she's my age-ish.
She's my Nuna.
Yeah. She's your Nuna, like she's my peer. And I'm like, okay, so if she's hitting at 28, like, then I mean, like, yeah, that's fine for me.
Right.
But you know what?
Oh, God. You know what? I'm so sorry.
I know. It's hard. But like I said, you cannot deny the presence that Park So-ham has on screen. Like, it's magnetic. And Jae-chan is adorable. Like, don't get me wrong, he is adorable. But he's 4 years older than my daughter.
Awkward. Yeah, I mean, you gotta make a floor. The floor has to exist. I'm fine with no upper limit.
I have no upper limit, and you can't make me.
Yeah, no, I'm
Harrison
fine with
Ford
no
all the way
limit.
for Leah.
No, that was Megan.
Oh, that was Megan with Harrison Ford.
Me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Megan gets 80-year-old Harrison Ford. Okay.
Yeah, with the mustache and the earring.
And the earring.
Yeah, no, I liked the grandpa from Business Proposal.
You did.
But I gotta have a floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It just might be like wobbly.
This might be low.
It's like a funhouse floor.
It tips. Sometimes it tips. If V comes in with a lollipop, it's tipping me right off.
I feel the same way. Like, Jae-chan is adorable, and like I do want to give him like a lollipop and a blanket,
But not a sexy lollipop, not like V with a lollipop.
No, like a dum-dums. Like a dum-dums.
Like a bank dum-dum.
And like push him in that pram.
Because, give him a safety sucker, the one that's got the little loop so he doesn't choke on it.
Yeah. like look, he's still like, I don't think he's done growing yet. I mean, what I mean?
Of course,
like,
he's 20.
He's 20. I mean, his growth plates might not yet be closed.
Like, I think we need to make it, can you legally rent a car?
Oh, right. Yeah, he couldn't rent a car. I can't do that. But I love him. I find him adorable.
Yeah,
but it's
I'll
like,
rent a car for him, and
yeah, like I'll support him. but yeah, that's like as far as it goes. But like Park So-ham is, I'm sorry, that's a whole nother story. He's only like 11 years younger than me because I just turned 39. So he has sex appeal and mature sex appeal. Like it had me perking up like Pavlov's dog. And
You're like bow, wow, wow.
Truly, I was like, Bort? Like,
The little antenna. Beep,
yeah.
beep, 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 beep.
And it helped that his character was, like, right up my alley. Like,
Oh,
this,
yeah.
like, flirty guy with this, like, laissez-faire attitude who was like, I like a guy? Okay. Like, sure. So he's a guy. Let's do this. And he had, like, zero angst about it, which I guess isn't really a spoiler. But, yeah, he was just, like, really confident and sexy even when he was wearing, like, all red, which we'll get to.
Oh, my gosh.
But, yeah, and he's a whole nother story. I mean, and he was so tall. Oh, just loved him so much.
All right. Well, I mean, that's it. That's it for no spoilers, folks.
Yeah, we still have stuff to cover.
Yeah. No, I mean, like...
That's it. Good night.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming. The floor is wobbly. We'll see you next time. But, no, I mean, like, it's not even a 4-hour, miniseries. Like, so that's really all we can do without spoilers because there's just too much fun in this drama to not simply dive in. So stay along for the ride if you've watched it or if you don't mind spoilers, because I really do think you could listen to us talk about it and still just be delighted watching it all unfold. Otherwise, take a quick break, devour this miniseries in one sitting, and then come on back to join the discussion. So let's talk some Universal Fantasy butter. And a quick side note for anyone who missed our podcast on Universal Fantasy, but the concept just basically means a romantic fantasy sort of trope that just kind of hooks us every time, like a Beauty and the Beast scenario. Like, some people, like, anytime there's a Beauty and the Beast scenario, they're going to, like, gobble that up. So here we have a little bit of a bully romance. This is not to say that our lovely and sexy Jang Jae-young is truly a bully, but he does kind of antagonize hero number 2, Chu Sang-woo, when he finds out that Sang-woo is kind of the reason he didn't graduate. Okay, according to Sang-woo, Jae-young is the reason Jae-young didn't graduate, because he was the freeloader. But that being said, Jae-young is a bit of a bully to Sang-woo, everything from enrolling in all of Sang-woo's classes when he accidentally drops his schedule and he gets a hold of it, getting to class early to steal his seat, buying up all of the canned coffee that Sang-woo loves so that he cannot have his Black Holic.
That was pretty good.
That was awesome. All the cans of Black Holic, like, sitting around his apartment. Drawing on Sang-woo's face when he falls asleep in class because Sang-woo then has to get up, even earlier to get to class to get his seat. Wearing all the red to be extra distracting, and even moving in next door to Sang-woo to further antagonize him. Is this kind of enemies to lovers romance one with quite a bit of psychological warfare? You are kind of butter.
So I do not like bully romance. I don't like bully romance books, and I pretty much avoid them. But K-dramas always have a way of taking tropes that I dislike and making them palatable. This was a case in point. But I will say, first of all, there was zero physical bullying.
No, yeah.
I mean, unless you count drawing on his face. But that was, nothing.
No,
painful.
you fall asleep in class, you deserve to get your face drawn on.
Yeah, true. On my cruise...
Oh, God.
Your boat ride, your 3-hour tour.
to the Bahamas, a guy fell asleep and we wrote balls on his face. I have a picture of it.
Did you scrapbook it?
Because that's what you do. I do. I have it in my scrapbook. I have it in my scrapbook. I do. Anyway, so none of the, like, quote, bullying he did felt evil in any way. And honestly, the whole thing felt a bit like, the kid on the playground who, like, pulls your hair and chases you because he has a crush on you. So Jae-young's pranks felt, like, relatively harmless and more to just annoy Sang-woo than to actually hurt him. And I actually think the pranks, like, got Sang-woo to kind of, like, unclench a little. Like, I kind of almost liked seeing him react, because I was like, oh my God, we finally get some, like he's a very closed, button-up, non-emotional guy, and it was kind of fun to get a little bit of a reaction and out of him.
We talk about K-drama life and real life, and in real life I'd be like, this has gone a little too far.
Moving in next door, buying all the coffee, I mean, it's a little too much. Like, if that was, like, my friend in real life, I'd be like, I think we've crossed into some, like, cuckoo territory. We need to scale it down. But for drama, super fun. And I felt like it wasn't, I guess also to Jae-young's defense, even though he was a freeloader for that assignment, I feel like Sang-woo was a little bitch.
And, like, you know, he didn't, like, give any warning to the team, like, hey, if you don't help, this is, like, I'm going to, like,
That was, like, on presentation day. By the way, none of these people did any work.
He kind of was a little bit.
He was, I mean, like, I get it. Andy was a little bitch. Like, was he, like, could he have made a defense? Like, did he justify it in his own mind? I'm sure. And, you know, if I was Jae Young, I'm like, well, I got nothing but time now because I was meant to graduate and go to America for, like, you know, my next steps. Now I can't. So, like, I guess this is my new hobby. And so I thought that was, like, it felt less bullying to me. And not that Sangwoo deserved it by any chance, but more like, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes on both sides. Like, you know.
You mess with the wrong person. Like,
yeah.
I'm not a fan of bullies, like, in any way, shape, or form. But like you said, Megan, like, something happens in K-dramas where everything that I feel in real life goes out the window. I mean, we talked about this, Leah and I did, when we, you know, talked about Airs and Boys Over Flowers, that two of my favorite, I shouldn't say favorite heroes, because Gu Junpyo is not one of my favorite heroes, but I could not stop watching this guy on screen. And I, you know, made me fall in love with Lee Min-ho even more. And then you get to Choi Young-do, Kim Woo-bin in Airs, and he is such a freaking bully, but he is an emotionally boo-booed, you know, bully who has his reasons, not that it justifies it, but, like, it's butter for me in K-dramas, nowhere else. So this is, like, you know, like we've been saying, like, Jae-young's not being a bully, he's being an antagonizer. He's trying to push Sangwoo's buttons.
Right.
So I'm using the term bully romance for this one, like, very, very loosely. But I loved it. I loved it because it made their interplay so much fun. And it did, like, it forced Sangwoo out of his comfort zone. He had to change up his schedule. He had to do things different. And he realized that, like, life would not crumble if he didn't do things exactly the quote-unquote right way all the time. So when Sangwoo finally realizes he'll have to fight fire with fire, what's one of your favorite things that he does to try and outsmart Jae-young?
So for me, mine was a time that he tried and failed. And that is when he decided he was going to get revenge and try to draw on Jae-young's face.
Oh, that was so cute.
And then Jae-young opens his eyes. And Sangwoo's all like, ugh. I just loved that because it was kind of like he was going to get revenge a little, but he also was like, you know, you're going to, like, touch this person and maybe you're having I just loved it. There was so much, like, emotional, like, blah, I don't know what I'm doing and I'm trying to do this thing, and then he gets busted in the middle of it. And so that's always fun to get caught when you're really in your feelings.
Yes. And then Jae-young leaves the dot on his face too. Mm-hmm. Like, I loved it. Oh,
I love Jae-young. So we mentioned that Jae-young kept sitting beside Sangwoo just to, like, irritate him. So Sangwoo packed this, like, big wood divider in his book bag, and when he pulled it out, it was so funny because it was like, it's so big, and he, like, put it between them. And I think Jae-young actually found it kind of endearing. Mm-hmm. Like, I actually think he thought it was funny. And Sangwoo wouldn't even talk to Jae-young, and he, like, passed him a note
under the divider.
And they were, like, still right next to each other. It was just really cute. I loved it. It kind of showed a little bit of, like, Sangwoo's humor and, like, resourcefulness.
Yeah, speaking of resourcefulness, he's like, all right, you're going to buy up all of, like, my vending machine drinks. So he just went and bought boxes of it. And it's like,
he was
wheeling
it
home on his
bike.
bike. I know.
Oh,
it was so cute.
K-chan.
Aw. Okay, so similarly, Sangwoo is a guy who appreciates logic and order, but he starts acting out of character due to his inexplicable feelings whenever he's around Jae-young. What's something that he does due to his undefined feelings that you really enjoyed? Because that's one of the things that I found really endearing is, like, Sangwoo didn't realize that he liked this guy. Like, he's like, he didn't think love was real. Like, he thought it was just, you know, something fabricated so that people will procreate. Like, he, you know, uses that definition of it. So I love that he's, like, falling in love and doesn't understand that he's falling in love because he doesn't really think that love is a thing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I liked it when you could tell, like, Sangwoo was starting to really catch his feelings, and he kept, like, trying to find reasons to, like, be around Jae-young, but they made it kind of clear that he didn't really drink a lot, and it was, like, his choice. Like, it wasn't that he couldn't drink, he just didn't, I don't think he, like, preferred it. And then one night he gets drunk with Jae-young, and there's, you know, the drunken confession, and I just loved that scene. It was sweet and cute, and it made me really happy.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. I loved his Instagram stalking.
I forgot about that. You're right.
And screen capping the photos. of Jaeyoung, especially since there's like a fun call out to this in the final episode when Jaeyoung finds a folder on Sangwoo's laptop that's just titled with his name. Because like Sangwoo gets up, he's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And they're like, you know, snuggling on the bed together or whatever. And he's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And Jaeyoung finds, and they're working on the game, and Jaeyoung finds this folder and he opens it. And all of a sudden, like, Sangwoo comes running out of the bathroom. He's like, no, look at that. And it was like really cute because he's like, you pervert. Like, but it was really cute that like he just went through his Instagram and was like screen capping all these photos. And in the moment, he's like, why am I doing this? But he just couldn't stop doing it. And it was really cute.
I think that was my fave too, because I really love that. And I think the ending, that was like such a nice thing at the end to find that. I don't know. I also really like that sometimes in a romance where somebody does something kind of dorky in their feelings, and then later like the other person gets to find out about like how nerdy they got about it, but is like charmed by it.
Yes.
What is a name for that? Because it happens a lot in K-dramas.
We should name it. We need to give it a name.
It's like in your feels something. Yeah, we need to name it because it's in a lot of dramas.
It's almost like crush catching, because like you catch out like the crush, like, right? You know, the crush moment.
Oh, like you catch when they started their crush. Oh,
yes, because that's the whole thing.
That's a good one. It's always when the crush is starting.
Right. Yeah. And it lets Jaeyoung know, like, basically how long Sangwoo actually has liked him. Because he tried to deny it for so long.
Crush catching. So, hashtag crush catching, hashtag Afternoona Delight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think something like that is like a fun, because they do that a lot. It does help mark time. And yeah, it's so fun to then get that insight of like, oh my gosh, you've liked me that long?
Right.
It's cute. And speaking of cute, Jae-chan, now is our favorite part of the show, our segment, which is our K-pop Rec of the Week, and we get to tailor this one specifically to Semantic Error.
I'm so excited. So Jae-chan is in DKZ. As I said, it's formerly Donkiz, and they had a comeback like just this week, and the song is called Cupid. And it is, I've had it in my head now for 2 days. Like, I've had it stuck in my head. It is really upbeat and fun and catchy and bright. It feels very much like a summer song, and like the video's happy. They're always smiling. I watched a couple of their like live performances on the music shows, and they just have such high energy, and I'm just really happy for them. I mean, Jae-chan's getting crazy views on his fan cam, and I'm just so happy for him and for the group, and I really hope this brings them, you know, more success. So definitely check it out. It is called Cupid by DKZ, and you won't regret it. It's a super fun song.
Yay, Jae-chan.
I'm excited to listen to it. If you enjoy our podcast, you have our patrons to thank, at least in part. Afternoona Delight Patreon allows us to keep creating content for y'all to enjoy. Thank you so much to everyone who is supporting us there. And not to brag, but our Patreon community is pretty awesome, and you can join at a tier that feels good to you. Gain access to fun perks like K-drama posts, monthly Patreon-only bonus podcasts, and even a live K-drama support group on Zoom. Because we know firsthand what it's like to have no one to talk to about those crazy plot twists, amazing characters, and all those feelings. And look, no one should have to walk that walk alone. So learn more by visiting afternoonadelight.com. That's www.afternoonadelight.com. And hey, while you're on the website, you can check out Afternoona Delight podcast merch, find links to book recommendations, bop along to our K-pop Recs, glow up your skin with K-merch Recs, find all of our social media, and a link to our email so you can send us recommendations or feedback. And hey, while you're at it, why don't you pop over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review? It really helps with our discoverability. 감사합니다.
So let's talk besties. How much did we love Song Ji-oh as Choi Yoona?
She was so fun. I mean, I loved how she was super funny and called Jae-young out on his bullshit. When he was in full psychological warfare mode, especially with the full red outfits, like head to toe, she did not encourage him, but instead told him that he was annoying and that, of course, Sangwoo didn't want to sit by him because neither did she. I just thought that the friend dynamic was really fun, and it humanized Jae-young and knocked him down a peg or two because he was, like we've said, like super swaggery, confident on screen, and I loved, and he was like that, like around, Sang-woo and everything like that. But I love that it knocked him down a peg and like it made him human. That like he thinks he is all that in a bag of chips, and then she's like, no, you're actually pretty damn annoying.
And like shout out to her wardrobe because she had the coolest clothes. She looked amazing, and I liked her a lot. She was really fun. She was like a really good like bestie, like sidekick.
I loved the dynamic. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
How about, speaking of friendships, did you like the friendship Sang-woo had with Ji-hai, the girl who had the crush on him?
So I thought this was really cute. In a lot of like gay romances and often BL dramas, there is a trope where there's like this evil woman who is trying to break up our precious boys. And so it was really nice to see a girl like Ji-hai who just had this like really innocent crush. And in the end, she ended up being sweet and supportive. She wasn't like nasty. She was just like a high school girl with a crush. And I thought the drama treated her with dignity.
Yeah, and she even, I mean, she confessed, but she's like, just let me confess before you reject me. She's like, I just need to get this off my chest. I like you, and now I feel better, and we can just be friends. Like, she knew that he wasn't interested in her. Like, she knew. But there was some fun interplay between her and Jae-young before she finally kind of got it.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah, and I think one of you mentions it a little bit later, so I won't get too into that. But yeah, it was really sweet, and I liked it a lot. It was good because Sang-woo didn't have anybody to talk to about all that was going on, and so she's like, you look like something's bothering you. Do you want to talk about something? And he couldn't come out and say that he had feelings for Jae-young, so he talked about it as if there was like a bug in the program for his game, and he was able to like work it out by talking about it with her that way, and I thought that was really sweet.
Mm-hmm. That was really cute. I actually forgot about that scene until you mentioned it now. That was really, really cute.
Yeah. Although there is one moment that I really loved, and it was when Jae-young and Sungwoo are having coffee or something, like at the cafe by the window, and Sangwoo doesn't realize it, but Jae-young looks out and sees Ji-hai watching them. And, like, do you remember that? And he, like, kind of, like...
Yeah. Well, because she's sitting with Sang-woo, and then Jae-young is just, like, he, like, sees them together, and he's like, here, my computer doesn't work. And, of course, Sang-woo's like, oh. So immediately he's going to, like, pay attention to the computer, and he kind of, like, ignores Ji-hai, and then she, like, gets up to leave, and Jae-young takes her place. Yeah. And as she's, like, leaving the restaurant, and she's, like, walking away, she's, like, kind of pouting, and she turns around, and Jae-young just gives her the, like, most... smug smile, and he's like really, and there's almost like a possessive-ness to the smile, and it's just really hot and funny all at the same time.
Like, haha, he chose me.
yeah, like it's more like I won.
Yeah,
right.
And Sang-woo is like oblivious, just like typing on the computer.
Yeah, saying because it was the two of them constantly in Sang-woo's orbit, and he was completely oblivious.
Completely.
So that kind of goes into my next question, which is like, what is your favorite comedic scene? And that was yours, Megan. And I really liked, it's always the friends, I think, that make me laugh, too, with him. When Jae-young is moping over Sang-woo not returning his affections, he meets up with Yuna and Hyung-taek at the restaurant where they're hanging out, and Hyung-taek is about to put a piece of lettuce in his mouth, and Jae-young freaks out and tells him not to ever eat lettuce in front of him again, because Sang-woo's nickname is Sang-chu, which means lettuce. And then he, like, forcefully stuffs the rest of the piece of lettuce into Hyung-taek's mouth and is like, don't ever let me see that again. It was just, and
it's like one of the rare times he's grumpy. He's actually like a really like happy-go-lucky guy, and it's like the one time he's like angry in like the whole drama.
And Hyung-taek has no idea what's going on either. He's just like sitting there with this lettuce hanging out of his mouth like, what did I do?
So cute.
What was your favorite romantic scene in the drama?
I mean, I think it has to be the almost kiss in like the dark costume shop. So I like this scene too, where they basically have to do like some sort of like a French scene for French class, and they had like the white wigs, period outfits, and it was just so funny. So they were returning the costumes, but like, of course Jae-young doesn't do anything by the book, so they have to like sneak the costumes back, and they hear people come in, so they're like hiding among all these costumes, and there's like this like sexual tension between them as they're like standing against each other, and I was like,
and a red light goes on too.
And you think they're gonna kiss, and then Jae-young's just like, want to see a movie? and I loved it too because Sang-woo, I think he thinks that Jae-young's gonna kiss him, and he doesn't actually like resist. You know what I mean?
He's just
and
waiting
like,
for it.
This whole beginning of when they're kind of really starting to like put things together that they both sort of have feelings. I loved it so much.
So I think I really liked it was like towards the end, because I had another one I was going to do, and now I'm like remembering this one that I liked better. So I might be a little muddled on it because I haven't like thought it through perfectly. But it's the one where like they're on the couch and like remember like Jae-young is like, you know, do we need to lock the door or whatever?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I don't know, that just like that part was so hot. Like I just felt like,
especially because Sang-woo said, "I already locked it."
Yeah.
Like,
and so I love that one because it just felt like so like extra and sassy and showed like an evolution in their relationship. I really liked also the bar scene when Sang-woo just kind of like desperately grabs him by the lapel. I'm never not in for like a desperate lapel grab kiss. But that last one I thought, so that was what I was going to choose. But then later I liked that other one that kind of just showed that they were like getting down a little more. And it was like they were a little more like comfortable with like knowing that's where it was going.
I like love how much initiative Sang-woo takes.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like pretty much every kissing scene. Like at the end when he asks for a second chance at their 2-week trial, and then Jae-young says, "No, I want to date for real," and he's still like trying to like give him the, you know, here's what I want to do now, and here's the new parameters, and Sang-woo doesn't let him finish, and he just rises up on his tiptoes and plants one like right on him, and I'm like, go little dude, like he's the initiator.
And I want to say something about go little dude, because I think this is like really important. I saw a couple of comments about this drama come up about people feeling uncomfortable with the age difference between the two male leads and the size difference.
What?
And so, Megan, I know you saw this, like, we both saw comments that were addressing this because we talked about it a little bit.
Okay, first of all, if anybody was listening to the beginning of this podcast, we have no problem with an 8-year age difference.
Clearly. 8 years is still, like, we're like, 8 years is responsible.
But they're not playing people who are 8 years apart.
No, and Sang-woo is also, like, at least of age, like, Korean age of consent, like, you know, like...
Yes.
You know, we were at least at the 20 mark. But I felt like the fact that he was the little dude who was the initiator.
Yes.
Also, it wasn't like this, like, Jae-young does put his physicality and his size into play sometimes when he's kind of being a pest. But I don't feel like he puts his size into play so much in terms of, like, sexual advancement.
That's a really good point.
Correct.
That's a really good point.
Good
like,
point.
Sang-woo had 100% agency. Like he that's, and I think I bring that up like just in the next like question or two. Like, am I wrong? Did he not initiate every single kiss? Like every single like sort of kiss before they were like a real couple at the end? I feel like he was I could be wrong, but even if I'm wrong, 99%.
He initiated a lot.
Yeah, 99% of
he
them,
initiated.
which I thought was awesome.
It was like kind of once he made a decision, that's the decision he stuck with, and I liked that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like he was like, okay, well, I like this man, and this is what I'm going to do about it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about in Business Proposal, like we went kind of back and forth over like the dubious consent, and in this, like when Jae-young is sleeping and Sang-woo just kisses him, I was like, yeah, that's the kind of dub con I'm in for. Like,
Yeah, I'll accept that.
yeah, that I will accept. Yes, thank you very much. Oh man. Okay, so favorite Jae-young outfit.
I mean, who can pull off all red, complete with a beanie, as well as Park So-ham? Like no one. And I just have to say, also, his waiter outfit was pretty hot.
He can wear the shit out of that waiter outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The red, I feel like, was ridiculous. He looked like a little Valentine.
Yeah, and I think that was from the webtoon. Like, I've seen shots of the webtoon, and he, like, wears that. Like, that's iconic, I think, for the webtoon.
That's awesome. Like, I'm going to go a little bit sentimental here, and I loved at the end, they're both wearing the same sweater, like different shades of it. Like,
I don't even remember that.
Oh my gosh.
So
Like,
I didn't remember that
I'm staring
either.
at the sweaters, and I'm like, it is the same stitching. Like, it's the same exact collar. And that's what made me like, because one of them, I think it's, Sang-woo's is like a cream color, and Jae-young's is like an oatmeal kind of color.
So is this wardrobe just getting like a 2-for-1 deal, or like two sweaters for one price?
Maybe it was like
store?
maybe it was like a Costco find. Kirkland.
But their
Kirkland's our
size,
budget.
but their size difference is so big. I don't think they can bulk order.
I mean,
You know, like extra small and extra large.
No, you know what? I'm kidding. I'm like,
I know. I'm like over. Like, well, actually, I don't know, Megan.
we just talked about the height difference.
Sang-woo is shopping in juniors.
But I love that they're, I mean, like, because both of them had their signature look in the beginning, right? Like Jae-young was total skater dude, and Sungwoo, and Sungwoo was like his low, low pull down, low baseball hat and a flannel and the flannel.
And I love how like he's looking at he's trying to find somebody.
Every guy who walks out of the lecture hall is, are you Chu Sungwoo? You're Chu Sungwoo.
Oh yeah, I forgot with the flannel.
He's like, is there like a dress code for the engineers? Like.
Yes, and I think that checks out. I think that checks out, like, my institution as well. It is a bit of a uniform.
I really think that's why this drama works so well, is because Jae-young was just such a precious character, and he was never just, like, nasty about anything. Mm-mm. You know what I mean? I never felt like he was going to hurt Sang-woo, and it just made the drama have this, like, really sweet edge to it.
Yeah, it didn't have a boys over flowers vibe at all.
No, oh gosh, no, not at all. Like, truly, like I said, when I use the bully fantasy.
No, I think that's... No, but I do think that it is.
Yeah.
It kind of is. I mean, that's basically the trope. But I just mean the way, again, it's like the way K-dramas just find a way to make tropes work for me.
Right. There's no evil intent in it. Right. Speaking of tropes, as in many dramas, one of our leads, Jae-young, has the opportunity to go abroad at the end after getting a job offer from a tech company in France called Dex, or DEX. But contrary to how these things usually play out, Jae-young not only decides on his own to not leave because he wants to finish making the game with Sungwoo, but Sungwoo, once he realizes his feelings for Jae-young will not subside, actually asks Jae-young not to go, not knowing that he's already decided to stay. So what is your take on this twist of a common K-drama trope?
I mean, I really love this, only because I really am over that kind of trope where, like, someone has to leave and there's a time gap. I'm really kind of over it. So it felt nice to have a character, it felt nice not to have a character go, like, all altruistic and tell their lover to just leave and live their best life, you know?
And break their heart in order to do it, too.
Yeah, it's like, ugh, I'm over it, you know? But it was, and I thought it was also really character growth for Sang-woo to say how he really felt and to be like, this is what I want. You know, and so, yeah. And as for Jae-young, he was so laid back, and I think he just made the choice that would make him happiest. Like, I stan. It's great.
I do agree that that was Jae-young's, he's more of a hedonist and, centering his pleasure, and staying was going to give him pleasure. But I will push back a little, like, look, I get that it can be overdone to have, like, the one person leaving time gap thing. But when we're looking at these coming of age stories too, like, what's interesting is that these South Korean dramas end up normally doing this. We're going to live apart for a while, time gap, then come back together. Like, that seems to be just like what happens, probably to like move the plot along, because they're in these like formats that they're like, we need to like get rid of some of this like excess. But like when we were writing new adult romance, I don't feel like there was a lot of times when there was space given to folks being out of these like intense romantic situations and that coming of age time in order to kind of live their lives and then come back together. So I've got mixed feelings, because I feel as if, and I mean, I've written books where there's been, at least one where there was like a time gap that was really intentionally put in there so that they could do that. And so, yeah, I think that it can be really important as like an organic part of the story, although that's like my real life sales pitch. And so in my K-drama sales pitch, I also think I am kind of a little bit over it and happy to like just have it play out like it did in this one. And I could always, I'm never going to like not be sympathetic to someone going away, but I think that I'd like them to be handled sometimes in a way that feels, I don't know, a little more surprising or interesting emotionally, because a lot of times I do feel like it's just serving to like, let's just like get this plot going somewhere else, so we're going to have this time jump, as opposed to what it means to actually be altruistic and want to center someone else and support them and things like that.
I like that. I agree with that. I do. And I think this drama or this webtoon was just like, we're going to give the people what they want. I mean, that's what that's what I think it was. This is the bottom line.
I thought, I appreciated it, especially since it was such a short drama. I think to put the time gap in and do the separation thing, it would have been off at the pacing too, But like, I did like the idea that Sang-woo had to come and say, I like you, I don't want you to go. Like, that was really That was really important, I think.
Yeah, for him especially.
And it was
I think,
important.
for his character.
It was important for Jaeyoung. I think to make it work, it was important that Jaeyoung was like, I already turned it down. Like, I wasn't waiting for you to ask me to stay because I wanted to stay, you know, kind of thing. So I think there's that too. It's that whole, because then we're dealing with that, like, you know, that sort of like lack of communication that, like, if somebody would have just said what they wanted, this couple would have stayed together, blah, 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 you know, kind of thing, where nobody waited for the other to make the choice. They did what they wanted, and I like that. I appreciated that. Okay, so finally, because we talk about titles a lot, what do we think of the title in this one, Semantic Error?
I didn't get it, so I'm deferring to Megan because I think there was a tech term.
Okay, so semantic basically means like logic. So yeah, as someone who was like married to a robot, I really enjoyed the way the drama showed how Sang-woo like struggled with trying to make logical sense of Jae-young. Like, there are times where my husband literally just does not comprehend certain emotions. And it's like not in his wiring. And it doesn't matter how I try to explain it to him. Like, he's just not built that way. And so I kind of like you know, Sang-woo made sense to me, you know, and humans don't make sense and emotions rarely do. So I really loved watching Sang-woo kind of finally let go and just give in to feelings and quit trying to logic it out so much.
I did appreciate it. Like, I got it that it was, you know, sort of using, like, it was like there was a bug in his code, right? Like, that's the parallel they kept making of it. And I really liked that, and I really appreciated that, because he was, in the beginning, a total logical being, and in the end, he was able to sort of reconcile his need for logic with his feelings, and I like that a lot. And I especially liked the very last scene when his computer, his laptop, starts like going on the fritz, and then it says like semantic error resolved or something like that. Like, and I thought that was really, really cute to kind of toss that in there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I really think they could have. I wish this was longer. Like, I really think they had enough to work with. This could have been kind of like an 8 or 12 episode drama, and I think we could have really gotten to even see more growth and like more depth and layers of Sang-woo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have taken up to 12 for sure.
I know that. So I did read an interview with Jay Chan, like, because fans love this so much that they're like, we want a season 2, we want a season 2. And Park Seo-ham is doing his military service right now. So it's obviously not, it wouldn't happen right now. But he said if all the stars aligned, he's like, absolutely, I would love to like return to this character, because I love that they just both really appreciated their character. Love that they loved doing this drama as much as the fans sort of loved watching it.
Yeah, I've been watching some extra content that the two did together again right before Park Seo-ham enlisted. It's kind of crazy to me. He like did this drama where he's getting like so much attention and he just like dips and enlists, you know what I mean? So, but I've watched a lot of content and interviews with both of them. And first of all, they have a really great friendship outside of, you know, they really developed this great friendship. They have great chemistry just in person with each other. And there are clips of them like when shooting raps that they're just like crying against each other. Cause I think it was like a really, I think it was like sad too, because it was it seemed like a really positive experience for both of them to shoot this drama, which makes me just delighted because so many of us enjoyed it and got, you know, happiness out of it. So the fact that they both liked shooting it and it was a positive thing in their lives makes me happy. And again, I hope that Jay Chan gets more success with DKZ and that people check out their music. Another song that I really like that they do is called Lupin. And it's a really, really catchy song as well that came out a couple years ago. And they do some choreo with like canes, and it's just really neat.
Oh, fun. That sounds like fun.
Yeah. It's cool.
One quick thing I wanted to throw out that I didn't come up in any of our questions, but another thing that just kind of like, you know, hit me in the feels is when, you know, speaking of Sang-woo like finally getting in touch with his feelings, when he finally starts calling Jaeyoung Hyung.
Oh, yeah. I loved that. Thank you for remembering that.
It like just, because when you were talking about their relationship, you know, offset, and like, you know, we were talking about their age difference and stuff, and like he talks about Park Seo-ham like being his senior and how helpful he was like with the idol stuff whenever. I'm like, oh, it's his Hyung. And I'm like, oh, Hyung. Like that was such a important part of the drama, because
you're right.
Jaeyoung's like, call me Hyung. And he's like, why would I call you Hyung? And then finally when he like can't, you know, he can't turn off his feelings, he's like Hyung, and it was wonderful.
That whole progression of that was really great.
Okay. So, Megan, you got a book rec for us?
So I actually wrote a male-male romance, and it's a coming-of-age story. So these guys just graduated college, and they're best friends, and one is openly gay, and the other, for his own reasons, kind of keeps everything to himself. So anyway, yeah, it's a coming-of-age. Basically, they go on a road trip, and I had a lot of fun writing it, and it still is one of my favorite books I've ever written. So it's called Trust the Focus, and it's by me, Megan Erickson.
Yay. And what are we all watching right now?
I finished Prison Playbook. I don't think I finished it the last time.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, so I finished Prison Playbook, and I loved it. I just want to say that. I mentioned it's written by the same writers who did Hospital Playlist and the Reply series, and it's very obvious it's the same writers, just the way they tell a story. And I say that in a good way. Like, I liked it a lot. I mean, I would say I liked it more than Hospital Playlist, like a lot more. I loved it.
I'm excited to watch that one.
Park Hae-soo is so great.
He's dreamy too.
He was in Squid Game, and I loved him in that. And the way he carries this drama with such a large cast in Prison Playbook was amazing. I mean, just so many people are in it. It's great. And then I started another Miss O. I'm not very far into it. I am intrigued. It's kind of a different type of drama. The hero, I think, is going to take some warming up to, and I think that is like the drama's intention. I don't think they want you to like him immediately. I think he's fairly unlikable on purpose. The heroine is extremely unique. She is basically one of those where on the outside she has like a lot of attitude, and she can like she's funny, but she can also like throw barbs. She's like witty, but on the inside she's like devastated. And when she's alone, she can just be a mess, which, relatable. So, yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes, because there's kind of like a lot of plot threads that they've introduced. So we will see.
I just finished watching Semantic Error yesterday, which, I mean, I just watched it over the weekend and I had to finish it up yesterday, but I'm caught up on Pachinko, which I'm really, really enjoying. Some different stuff happening from the book that so far I'm okay with. It's an interesting way that they're telling the story. And I'm really excited to see where it goes. This is the first time where I've ever had to like wait a week between episodes watching something. And it's a very strange thing for me, but it's also kind of helpful right now because I am so slammed with a book deadline, which is going to basically like kill me for the next 2 weeks. But I really love it. I think we mentioned the last time we brought it up that this is not so much a K-drama as it is like a mini-series about Korea with a lot of our favorite, K-drama actors in it. And so far it's beautifully shot, it's wonderfully done, and I'm really, really enjoying it.
And I am like in Pachinko, but I'm one episode behind what's out. And I need to like get back in a drama. I've had just a lot going on, so I've kind of like jumped out. And then I've also been, I'm nightly just watching BTS videos. So I really just need to like, get back on the K-drama wagon, because I've been watching a lot of BTS content, and that just hasn't let up for a little bit.
But that's okay.
It is okay. I mean, it brings me joy, but I do need to and want to jump into another drama, and I'm kind of leaning towards, I don't know. I mean, like my Mister, I think I've been like dragging my feet because I know I'm going to like it, but I also am just not quite sure I'm ready to be emotionally devastated.
It's like not, you got to be in the headspace for it.
Right. But then I'm like, when am I ever going to be like, yes, please? So
yes,
right? That's why I'm like, that's
emotional
why I'm
torture right now.
So that's why I'm like, I don't get it.
So I think I'm just like,
maybe Megan should just do a pod all by herself on this one.
No.
Our listeners would murder me.
Because I think I will like it. Yeah, I will like it. And so I know I'll like it. And so I need to watch it so that I can, save the sanity of our listeners.
My podcast would be 5 seconds. It's cold, it's dark, and everyone cries. The end.
So yeah.
Good night, everybody.
6 seconds. Yeah. So, So I've just got to kind of like figure out, I mean, we just finished Business Proposal. And now, like, since then, I just haven't, like, jumped into another one. And I really, except for, like, the pachinko. And so I need to kind of figure out, like, where am I going? What am I doing? I think my plan was, like, I was going to jump into 21, 25.
25,
and then
21.
that looked 25, 21. Then that didn't look like a safe bet. I also had, like, the 11 forecasting lined up. And then that didn't look like, so I mean, there's been like a couple where I was like, gonna do it. And then I'm like, well, no.
I know.
And here's a question before we go. I just want to just get both your vibes on this, and then we'll call it a night. What are we thinking about the trailer for Ji Chang-wook's new drama?
Oh, this is fun to talk about. Okay.
I haven't seen it. What?
You haven't seen it?
No,
Okay,
my head is buried in edits. So
It's like Willy Wonka.
it is.
oh,
That's the vibe I got.
oh, is this the magic
Yeah, this
one?
is the magic
Yeah.
one. It's called a music. What was it called? A musical fantasy. It was like the weirdest.
I don't know.
It was like a music.
I feel like
fantasy
I
drama
saw
or
it.
something.
He looks damn fine.
Yeah, he looks great.
In his quirkiness. Like, he looks good.
I am here for the weird, like Tim Burton-ish, if it's going to be like that. Like, I kind of dig that.
I don't know if it looks I'm into Tim Burton. If it had that vibe, yes. This
Doesn't
felt
look that
to
dark.
me more childlike-ish, a little bit Willy Wonka, but sweeter.
Okay.
It's more like, do you
Like,
believe in
come
magic?
with me,
Yeah.
and you'll see
Yeah.
in a world of pure imagination. And I'm like, am I an asshole?
Children
'Cause I'm
licking
like,
the walls.
oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I'm like, I mean, like, I'm hesitant, but I'm going to go for it,
Right.
but I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if I'm going to like it, but I'm going to watch it. I think someone said it's 6 episodes. Did you also
Okay, I
hear
mean,
that?
The Sound of Magic.
I
See,
mean,
now I
don't
want to
even-
watch the trailer. Like, it's here.
Yeah, the title does nothing for me. The top hat does do things for me. He looks really cute.
looks
But I mean,
good.
I love exasperated Ji Chang-wook too, so I'm also like, I'm not sure with this like Pied Piper. We'll see.
I'm gonna watch it because I wanna like support him in his like art, but like I really just want to see him do like uneven bar routines when he's fighting. Like that's what I want out of Ji Chang-wook. Like I'm sorry,
See, I want to see him just go, Aish!
Yeah.
Hardcore.
Me too.
I just want to see the suspicious
the angry
partner,
lawyer.
So
angry lawyer.
he did announce that he's like in an action role coming up. So I mean that is what I want to see him in. But like I appreciate that he wants to do other things. Like good for him.
I'm watching this trailer as soon as we stop recording, so
Yeah, it's
okay.
It's unique. That's all I'm gonna say. And yeah, it major Willy Wonka vibes, which I don't. I mean, I love Willy Wonka. I love Johnny Depp and Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka. So, all right. Well, I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I mean, Semantic Error is an absolute delight, and we hope that you enjoyed talking about it with us or listening to us talk about it. And if you haven't watched it, we hope that we have enticed you to go pop on over to Viki and give it a watch because it is just so adorable and so much fun.
Happy making,
And what do we call it? Crush
catching.
catching.
Crush catching.
Happy making crush catching drama. All right. Well, on that note, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Annyeong.
Annyeong. Kamsahamnida. Thank you for listening to Afternoona Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFTERNOONADELIGHT.com. You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, K-pop and K-skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoona Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon, where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. Join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!